general, how's progress been along the line? Are guys kind of where you want them to be?
You're never where you want to be, but they're working hard. I think it's been a good camp and been more positives than negatives. So we just got to keep building on those and moving forward. I see a lot of good things, and there's always a lot of room for improvement. But I think guys are feeding off of each other. I think we're playing more vertically than we did in the spring, which is a good thing. I think that's a funner way to play. Certainly. Try to get in attack mode and keep building on that. So I think it's been a good camp so far, and the key is with school starting next Monday, we really got to make a lot of movement, a great push as we get into midweek and finish up this week, because our time is obviously reduced starting next Monday. So the rest of this week will be huge for us.
With McCray kind of banged up, who is kind of filling in that role in terms of providing a little bit of pass rush?
I don't think it's any one guy. You know, Brandon Wilson is a guy that was working behind Robert out there, and Jacob Robinson spent all of his time out at end when Robert was down in the spring. And then I think it's good that we're getting Greg Gooch out there too. You know, there's not a lot of difference size-wise, maybe a different type of body, but Greg's still 260-plus pounds, and so we're rolling different guys, different combinations, and I think that just gives us more versatility. But it's really been those three guys that have kind of been filling that void a little bit.
What have you seen in Nate Hoff, just the jump he's made since spring?
A lot of strength. You know, a guy that can really anchor the interior defense. Again, it's really getting him out of the mode, the read and react, playing sideways that he's done the past couple of years. We want to be more aggressive, and I think a guy like that there's not a stronger player, in my opinion, in college football. So if he plays vertically and plays with his hands, he can be very, very disruptive for us.
Coach Wilson was mentioning there's a walk-on up there now. Is it Brown? I'm spacing on the name.
Josh Brown, yeah.
Where's he going?
Josh has been spending a lot of time at the end position too. You know, he played into the boundary some in the spring, and so he's been one of those guys that's kind of been at both positions. But you know, Josh has been a good surprise for us as a walk-on. You don't expect those guys to flash maybe as much as they have, and you know, he plays hard. Doesn't maybe have as great a God-gifted skill set as some other guys, but technically he's been really, really strong for us. So he's had a good camp.
Do you think these guys feel pressure on the line to produce a pass rush, given what you guys lost last season?
I mean, you know, it's not a secret that you lose that production and there's a void. You know, we talk about it, and there's different ways to approach it. But I hope these guys have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, because I don't think, you know, people have a whole lot of confidence in them. So that's fine. It is what it is. And I don't think it's going to be any one thing. You know, we certainly have to produce a pass rush in rushing four guys. There's times that we'll work with each other and run some mixes and some stunts up front. And there's times that Coach Allen's going to call pressure. You know, and regardless of what the call is, what the situation is, he still boils down to winning a one-on-one matchup. And that's what we talk about, whether it's a straight rush, even when you're blitzing. The call is not magic. You know, I think sometimes guys just think that because they're blitzing, they're going to come scot-free, or somebody's not going to account for them, and that's not the case. Oftentimes, those guys, you know, are schooled up really well on the other side, and you still have to win that one-on-one matchup. So those are the things that we talk about. And pressure, I don't know. I mean, I hope that they flip the script and look at it as you know, nobody has much faith or much respect with us, you know, and take the offensive that way.
What has the transition been like, switching that scheme to the four guys?
I think they like it. You know, I don't want to knock anybody's scheme, but I think when guys can play aggressively and play on an edge and play one-gap football, and not feel like they just got to keep blockers off the linebackers or the secondary to make plays. I think guys buy into that and really enjoy that. They want to be aggressive and establish a new line of scrimmage and be playmakers. So I think we're allowing them to do that, and I think they've embraced it.
Coach Wilson was saying, you mentioned playing vertically, playing aggressive. Coach Wilson was saying he saw the defensive line guys really take into the O-line in the last few practices. Are you seeing that, or are you basically where they are and I guess how they're approaching it?
Again, I think we've seen good progress. Is it where you want it to be? No, because again, you don't just get out of an old mode after you've done it for a couple of years. So there's constant there's been constant progress. There's been some leveling off at times where we have to get back and get refocused and re-energized. So part of that's the give and take of going against, these guys practice after practice. And again, the thing I like is they're going against a veteran, seasoned offensive line each and every day. One of the better offensive lines that they'll probably go against. And that's a tribute to Coach Fry and the players that he's developed. So I think we're getting tested on a day-in, day-out basis, and that, I think, gives our guys confidence moving forward.
How's the first 2 weeks gone for Jerome Johnson? And how he's lost some weight?
Yep, no, Jerome's doing a good job. In fact, he, because we've got a little bit of depth inside with the bigger bodies and even having Jacob Robinson bounce inside, there haven't been as many team reps for a guy like Jerome Johnson. And he got his first taste of team action actually in the scrimmage this past Saturday. In the first play out there, he made tackle for loss. So really, really pleased with how he's progressing. I think it's hard, especially when you're a big body like that. You come into a new environment, Big Ten football. There's a huge difference. I mean, he's big from a size standpoint, but not anywhere near maybe some of the strength of the guys that he's going against. So it's been an eye-opening experience, and I think he's growing up a lot since he arrived here early in June. I really do, and he's a great kid to be around and great to have in our room, and I think he's got a bright future.
After recruiting Ralph Green here years ago, what have you seen out of him? How much has he grown, I guess, since the first saw him?
Well, Ralph's really changed physically a ton. I mean, Ralph's still a very, very large person, but at one point, and Ralph will have to give you the specifics, I mean, he either was pushing 400 pounds or way over 400 pounds, and he shaved almost 100 off of what he was at one point in his life. So I don't think a lot of individuals can maybe do that if they're in the same position. And so he's come a long way physically. From San Antonio, he's had a lot of ups and downs in his life from a family standpoint. I think he's overcome a lot of odds, and it's just great to see that he's had a real solid career up to this point. And I know he wants to take some steps forward and have a great senior year, and we want to put him in position to do that. So certainly proud of Ralph, and I think he realizes that there's even better football ahead for him if he continues to do the things that we're asking him to do.